Collective. Hey, what is going on? Welcome into the channel. So happy to have you here always. My name is Deborah, owner of Purusha Holistic Wellness, and this is another episode of Purusha Intuitive. We're going to look at the weekly forecast, the energy for the upcoming week via the tarot, astrology, and any channeled messages that come through. So let's get into it. First things first, thank you so much for your patience, your flexibility with the channel, with the readings. Unfortunately, the audio is just not translating. It's coming out really bad, and so I deeply apologize. I've watched a few of them back recently, and it just is kind of annoying to get through. So thank you for all the love and support to those who have sent it my way. I super appreciate you always. And just know that's why I'm recording and then uploading. I am going to look into it a little bit deeper. It does look like it is something on YouTube's end, so hopefully I can get things sorted, but we will see. So all that to say, we are headed into our first full week, I believe-ish, of Taurus. We had a pretty full week of Taurus last week. It started Monday, and now we're actually moving into or headed into the full moon. The full moon in Scorpio is happening this Friday, depending on where you're located. Topically, the astrology looks not too complicated. It's not all sunshines and rainbows. There are problems, issues that we are going to have to use our wisdom, our intellect in order to navigate, and it might be a little bit uncomfortable. There might be some things that we have to do, change, transition, things that might be a little bit humbling, depending on where we find ourselves. I'm not saying that's true for every and all situations, but there is this level of flexibility that we do need to have. And this actually makes a lot of sense with Venus and Uranus just moving into Gemini, because it is opening up new avenues, different avenues, maybe things that were either hidden before or just wasn't available, and now it is. And that brings with it a whole new, basket of worms, a can of worms, sorry, not a basket, but a can of worms. And again, not to be overly bleak, but this Taurus season is a lot about where we're placing our energy, our commitments. Pluto's also going to go into retrograde. Pluto in retrograde, Pluto rules transitions, cycles in our life, death and rebirth. And with it in Aquarius, moving from Capricorn, it's giving us an opportunity to switch it up, to make choices that are more heart honoring, that are in alignment with what we want, to not stay stuck in the old just because we feel, beholden to it on some level. Being able, willing to release, to let go, to even learn the lessons so we can evolve, so we can feel empowered about where we're moving towards. It's not a bleak change. I think the resistance is coming more because it is taking some effort. We're not getting away with just skating by or resting in comfortability. We're actually being forced to do some things that might not be comfortable, or might not be ready to do, or whatever, right? There's a myriad of ways this can all manifest. But when we can kind of connect to the deeper meaning of why we're making certain choices in our life, it really does kind of help us overcome some of those obstacles that seem really big in front of us, And I feel like that's what we're being forced to do, is commit to self. And I feel like that has been popping up the last week, and we're going to see how it's going to look for us this week. So I like to start off my readings with energy cleansings just to set the tone, set the vibe for the reading. You can skip ahead if it's not your vibe. I think I pretty much put it in the chapters, so it can be easy to skip ahead if you want. But the energy cleansings, they just help us set the tone, set the vibe for the reading, cleanse out those places we might be coming into blocks or limitations. It's a really good time to set your own intention for the reading as well, especially if you have something on your heart, on your mind that you would like Spirit to deliver messages to you around. Definitely give that over. Be open to receive. It's a great way to personalize these collective readings. I also do personal readings. I offer a variety of healing and wellness services. Readings are one of them. If you want me to look at, hot, this is going wild, your specific situation, how it's faring, where it's headed, or if you are interested in more of that realignment of self, your mind, your body, your soul, I do energy healing as well as Ayurvedic or holistic wellness consultations. When we are aligned in self, when we feel grounded, established, when we know self, that's really where we're manifesting our happiness, our abundance, our fulfillment. And I would love to support that for you in whatever way possible. Definitely hit me up. All the info to get into contact with me is in the description box below. All right, let's get into it. I bless you with pure love and light, pure source energy, pure loving grace. I release anything that is not for your highest and best. Any fears, doubts, insecurities, lack of worth, lack of value, pain, anger, frustration, impatience, overwhelm. Cleanse it and release it from our being, so we may see and understand the messages clearly. Help to make me a clear and open channel. Thank you, Father God, Spirit guides, guardian angels, Mama Love. I know I missed a line in that prayer, but it was very smoky. It was very intense. I'm hearing you're doing a lot of cleansing this week, or you're really changing up how you are doing things. I feel we've been talking a lot about, I should say, at the channel, how Aries season has given us this opportunity to invest in ourselves and making certain commitments to ourselves. And Taurus season allows it to come into our material world. And so I am picking up this level of strength coming from you. I love this. You're cultivating self step by step. I feel like you have a clear vision maybe of who you are, or the more you do this commitment, the more you invest in this part of who you are, whether it is overall well-rounded you as a whole person, or if it's just you're trying to refine a certain aspect of your life. It's happening. It's moving. It continues to move. And that's what I'm hearing. You continue to maximize. You continue to maximize on your empowerment. I feel like we've been on a good stride lately. The energy that's been coming up, even though there are certain things that are bleak around what you have to navigate, it doesn't mean that it's all, horror and dread, or life's falling apart or bottoming out from under you. I think that you've actually got a good grasp on things, and we definitely have been getting this subtle nudge towards teamwork. How can we work together in certain environments? And yes, this does talk about people that might be a little bit harder to deal with. If anything this week, that's where we're seeing the tension. So the monkey mind can maybe get the best of us. I feel like this message came up a few weeks ago, but places where we put in too much thought, the over anxiety, the fear, the hypotheticals, what if this person thinks or feels this way about me? And it's just maybe, but should we go down that road? Probably not, until that person can say it to our face type thing. Because I do think you do need people. You do need some resources, or this energy of community, teamwork, your network, your people, however, whatever, even your family, right? Whatever you're looking to draw in to your life as a better source of stability, specifically, it's wanting to come in. And I do see these cracks, I'm hearing, I was hearing cracks at the door. There's these little pieces of hope, of light that are coming in, that it is making you excited about what is on the horizon. I think certain things are not 100% clear though on who and what this is. I feel like you've been doing a lot of being practicing being open to what is around you, to the options, opportunities that are available. And I feel like as you search, as you put yourself out there, you're able to hone in on how authentic people or dynamics are around you. Is this something that really does fit for me? Is this something that does feel right? Or is this something that isn't my vibe. And I think you're able to do that a lot easier. There might be some fear around how that actually looks in your life playing out, like especially if you're coming from spaces where you didn't have a lot of support or you didn't really have a lot of teammates. This feels like you can trust. And I think that you can trust yourself, you can trust your judgment is what I'm hearing. And I feel like what is being delivered to you, and this does feel like that. I've been picking up this energy, like, yes, it is about you getting out of your house. You have to leave your house to invite in new opportunities, right? We all kind of know that. So there is this element of putting yourself out there, so to speak. But I feel like these are things that are naturally being drawn to you. These are certain synchronicities. And I think it is a lot, like I think Spirit is really trying to nudge you in the direction of listening to self, right? Listening to what your self is saying, what feels right for you. I'm seeing the compass. It's in your blocked energy this week. So it's almost like when we do disconnect, right? We do everything by what our mental is telling us. And yes, maybe there are certain reasons why you think or feel a certain thing, but there's also other elements that, like, if we're sensing a situation's going to go in a certain way, or like maybe people are just trying to like fearmonger or make it seem like worst case scenario, or our anxiety is presenting worst case scenario, maybe it might not be that type vibe. And that's where I'm hearing, like, it is important to keep dialing back into self. I feel like that's going to make you a lot stronger. It's going to make you more confident. That's what it is. Like, you have a certain level of strength about you right now where I don't think you're wavering in self. I think there's not a lot in front of you. There's a lot of unknowns. There's a lot of gaps in your life that are going to be filled in. And I think this teamwork component is some of it. I feel like there is that underlying lesson of like trusting people once again, as I was saying, not being afraid that you're going to get met with the same backlash. Back to nature, beginning of the week, it reminds us to, get out, enjoy the sun, enjoy the world around you. I know where I'm located, it's been so beautiful. We've had some like icky days, but we've had some really nice warm days. It makes me excited about what's to come with summer, is what I was saying. And I feel like nature is also very harmonizing, especially in the physiology to our biorhythms, our circadian rhythms, etc. It really helps us realign with self. There's something that's so refreshing. The prana, that life force energy, breathing it in. And you don't even have to spend a long time outside. It's like taking a 15, 20-minute walk, sitting in the sun. We all need that vitamin D, etc. And I feel like that's also a place where you gain a lot of creativity. If you are needing to be creative, inventive about changes that you're making in your life, you have a lot of support to do so. You might not like everything that comes your way. That's where we're seeing that tension pop up, especially beginning of the week. And the Five of Cups has been popping out for us a lot lately. And it's just that reminder of like, this is more like shoulda, woulda, coulda, or it's a belief that things should have gone differently, when in reality, they went in the direction that they did for a reason. And if anything, I'm seeing like a lot of blessings come out of this for you, even if it is coming off the heels of something that's been really overwhelming or very traumatic. The way that your energy is showing up present day is it just has a lot more, it's more well-rounded, if that makes sense. And I don't know, maybe that's not worth it to some people, who knows, right? Because sometimes this Five of Cups can be really intense. It can definitely draw us back into the fantasy, the illusion. So I hear this a lot in terms of like just being grateful, finding gratitude for what you went through. I was trying to say that to my son today, and he was just like rolling his eyes at me like, please, because it's so hard to find the good even out of the bad, right? But everything has a silver lining. And a lot of times, and what I'm seeing is it's like something that's very instrumental to how you're using your power moving forward. So again, that confirmation confirmation of like you needed to move through some certain life experience in order to gain that wisdom. And I'm hearing also like it's been a really important part of connecting back to self. I love how it's depicted in this card with all the black squiggly lines, and then there's that one gold line. And I feel like that's what you're getting pulled back to, right? Is self. Like, you know, the black lines kind of just remind me of all the chaos that surrounds us, all the opinions, all the perspectives, all the stuff that gets funneled into our psyche day in and day out. It's wild, you know, and I'm not like judging it. I'm just saying it's really wild. And, you know, I mean, even just like as I raise my child, it really challenges me to like find that balance of not getting too sucked into the propaganda, right? Because we need our sanity. We need our sanity. And I feel like that's a lot of what this is. We can sit in that space of shoulda, woulda, coulda, sadness, grief. If you need to grieve, give yourself the space to do so. It doesn't do you any good to hold it inside, but also don't sit in it. And I don't necessarily see you doing so. I think that there might be some things that are popping up this week that challenge your strength that you're emanating right now. Maybe mostly within self, but there's also a fear of like how that's coming across, or whether you feel strong enough to actually put yourself out there, approach something new, etc. Have the confidence to do what you need to do. There, you know, I'm seeing a lot of confidence in the beginning of the week. And it's an interesting kind of confidence. It does look like you might even be meeting some people or someone specific. Like even if you are kind of taking a walk out and about, or you do have someone who is hollering at you. So what I'm seeing, I know that sounds really funny. Okay, and then we also have, so interesting. So we have the King and the Queen of Stones. Interesting. Let's see what they want from you beginning of the week. This could be a couple. This could be a partnership of any kind. It doesn't have to just be romantic. A couple friend you have, couple friends you have. I hope that's coming out right. People who disagree, people who have a difference of opinion about maybe what you're doing or making you a certain offer. This could be financially motivated as well. Something that wants to make the right offer. It looks like there are some people who are waiting. I don't know. There's a lot of waiting energy beginning of the week. I feel like this has kind of forced you into a space where if you are waiting on someone or something beginning of the week, because it looks like there's a group of people. It looks like people are waiting on someone or a couple other people. Like there's a lot of waiting energies. Like this person's waiting for that person who's waiting for that person. And you might not even know the domino effect as to which this has, because there's, like I said, the overall energy is like you can feel something's not moving, or you keep getting met with in a little bit, you know, kind of that type of energy. And so it's forcing you in a different direction. It's forcing you in a direction that like makes it work for you, obviously. But it has this energy around it of like, I can't just sit and wait on everybody else, because you're watching all of this happen. That's the weird thing. Like you're either watching people fight or have a difference of opinion, or people can't agree, so it directly affects you, whatever that is. But then like no one really wants to budge, because we have this Five of Pentacles, because it's harder. I don't know. There's something that's harder for someone, something. Yeah. Someone's changing their tune about their approach, and it's putting a different spin on a situation. Like I said, this might be someone people or a dynamic that's trying to offer you something, but they're not really available to right now. And you know this. And I think it is pushing you towards your own devices, you know, because that's kind of where we're seeing the tension unfold beginning of the week. is that it's like, I'm not seeing things pan out how I want it to, or in order to get what I want, then I actually have to be proactive about doing things a little bit better, or working together with people, etc. And it feels like whomever, whatever you're dealing with beginning of the week are having a really hard time with that, with whatever that is. And it is putting you in a waiting position. I mean, I don't see you necessarily waiting around, because it almost looks like you're not in a place anymore where you just want to be waiting on other people. Like, it looks like you're trying to make things happen, especially with that Archer Great Bear. Like, that's all about you, and the King of Swords. That's all about you grabbing the bull by the horns and saying, like, okay, I might not like that this is how this is panning out, but for whatever reason, these people, this situation, like, can't or won't come forward, or can't give you what they need, you know, what you need. And so it's pushing you in a different direction. And again, this makes a lot of sense, especially heading into Pluto in retrograde, because it's challenging us with things like this, where maybe in the past we would have waited around or not invested value in yourself, but it looks like you're opening up your options, and you want things that are actually like authentic to you, right? You actually want things that, excuse me, actually I'm gonna take a sip of this, excuse me. Like, it just feels like there's a lot of indecision around you, and I think you can pick that energy up, and that doesn't feel good. That doesn't feel like acceptance. It doesn't feel like authenticity for whatever that is, right? And that can be, and I think it's just rubbing you or people the wrong way. I mean, like I said, I don't see you getting down and out about it. I see you actually doing something about it. Like, you no longer want to sit in this energy. I think that's your motivation. I think it still is a little bit hard to hear self, though, because of how this energy presents in your life. But it's enough fuel to push you in a direction of wanting to be a little bit more proactive with what you're given, or what your options are in front of you. We're most stressed about the changes that we have to make. So again, it's more about the disappointment of how we saw something play out, and recognizing that we have to make adjustments to better situate ourselves. And a lot of this is like, you're going to be happier in the long run. And I'm not necessarily saying that just to say that, just to like make you feel better, right? This is telling you that you're moving in a direction that's allowing you to be more honest, more realistic about what you want and what is working for you. And then as a result, you're getting love in return, you know? And I think this happens like anytime we just honor self. And it's a little hard to do. Like I said, the energy is not overly complicated this week. It's actually a little bit light, like lighter than what I expected. The full moon's going to be a little like meh, and we're seeing that. But it's enough fuel to the fire to be like, this might not make me feel good, but the tension, the resistance that I'm feeling is actually becoming my empowerment. It's actually becoming my fuel to make certain things happen. Scorpio energy is really good at connecting with what we desire. And especially in the face of like when we're getting backlash from people, or people are trying to like force us into a box, force us into an agenda, control, manipulate the situation, that type of vibe. Scorpio is really good at like saying F you, no thank you. I'm gonna do something else. And here's the thing, it is a wake-up call, right? It is a wake-up call. And I think there's a lot of people around you, we're all feeling this change on some level, and it's definitely not only putting a lot of eyes on you, everyone's curious about like what's going on. That's what I'm hearing. We have a Queen of Bows, Queen of Wands popping up, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius energy. We have the Hangman, which is Pisces energy, and the Wheel, which is Jupiter. Seven of Vessels, mourning. Someone's really disappointed, losing access to some capacity. Seeing how, I feel like people are having like these come to Jesus moments where they actually have to look at themselves in the mirror. I do love this card. It's not an easy card, but it also is a card of rebirth, especially in this deck. This deck has a little bit more pagan undertones to it. It is one of my favorites. But that's the cool thing about, when we're dealing with natural energy, so to speak, is it is available to us on any level. Even if it's not your vibe, even if you're not into like ritual, ceremony, magic, whatever you want to say. I'm not saying anything negative, black magic, bad things. I don't like low vibey stuff. It doesn't get anyone anywhere. It just creates bad karma, bad life cycles, right? But I feel like, and I feel like that's kind of what you're trying to unlearn or weed yourself out of. I think where you are finding challenges this week, it's not that hard. Yes, it might be a little bit of like a bruised ego type vibe, but it's enough to just say no, thank you. I think at the same time, I love this. I love this. Ace of Stones, Ace of Pentacles is a new beginning, especially as it relates to our material world. It's often symbolizes like a gift and offering. And I love it in this deck because it's called the foundation of life. So this is really saying how Spirit's like bringing you something in that is very authentic and true, that's allowing you to establish a really strong and powerful foundation, something that is incredibly supportive. But it does mean that you do have to stand up for self in the process, and I do see you doing that. I see, there are some things that are in the way, some things that you are clearing out, or maybe not every weed has been pulled quite yet, but you're in the process of doing it. And I think maybe there's some fear around that. There's fear of inviting in new people, new energies when the old energies still linger. And we've been kind of seeing this a lot in our readings where sometimes we just can't control certain things, unfortunately, whether we like it or not. That's a hard lesson to make peace with throughout life, anytime, anytime in life. But what I love about the Ten of Stones, Ten of Pentacles, it does signify home, family, legacy. I'm hearing like this is your fortress. This is the fortress that you're building for yourself. And there's nothing more beautiful than having like, those inner circle type vibes of like people that are going to have your back. People, whether they are family or like family, you don't have to let anyone into your sacred space that doesn't fulfill those requirements, And I think you're still like learning that, or maybe you're just still building, cultivating that. It looks like you have some things that are coming in. It feels good. It does feel good, even though full moons can be a little bit wild. Full moons are also about manifestation. New moon, we set our intention, then we're kind of like plugging up our way, refining what we need to, taking this, leaving that behind, blah, blah, blah. And then full moon, it's supposed to be like to see what comes in, the fruits of our labor. And so I see that there are like some good things that you're starting. It might not be 100% apparent on the surface, or it might not be this like magical genie, bringing your wish to life, but it definitely has this vibe of things that you're like, okay, this is good. Like, I know this is headed in the right direction. Oops. 3 of Arrows, jealousy. There might be, and we were kind of seeing this in the beginning anyway, and this actually makes a lot of sense with the full moon, the 3 of Swords coming out. It is grief. It is unhealed wounds, but I feel like this is more coming from your onlookers. I mean, you might even have grief and sadness. Maybe it's stuff that you're still trying to mend and heal, and I do see you doing that. But I also see that might be hard for other people around you, especially if they feel like you're leaving them behind to a certain capacity. But it doesn't look like you're focusing too much on that at all. I do see you paying attention to some of the things that get said. And that's not bad. I think it's always good to glean information, insight, how other people do things, etc. But I think at the end of the day, it's your voice that you need to listen to. And that's been a little bit hard to get to, is what I'm seeing. Whether that's just other people that have fed into for X amount of time and unlearning those things, right? What has been said, what has been projected onto you, etc. Connecting back to love. All right, let's see. Because at the end of the week, it's pretty quiet. Like we get it's not even a bad week. Like I feel like astrologically, again, there might be some things that are kind of annoying and frustrating. Maybe you have to shut your mouth or, let someone win or whatever, just do a little humility, that kind of thing. And then you can move along, right? It's like biting the bullet. And then I feel like, I feel like this is more outside energy. It's not as much about you running into things that are like grief stricken. This is more about people maybe even trying to like throw some arrows at you, make you hurt. But I think it might. But I think that you've also done enough to like overcome whatever this is. And I feel like that's part of whatever this love is that is coming towards you at the end of the week. This is something that you have been manifesting. This is something that you have been seeing coming towards you. I feel like you're not, I think that when this does manifest, it has this energy of like you're even surprising yourself. Like you're surprising yourself at what you've actually brought in. Like you know it, you see it, you can sense it, you can feel it, but when it actually happens, it's like, oh wow, like I did this, And I think it's really good. I think it's really nice. It has a lot of really positive energy. Let's see how this unfolds. Okay, so we have the Page of Bows in our blocked energy. Page of Wands, he was coming up a lot in our health and wellness reading. Four of Pentacles, protection. And the Wheel, life is changing, it's moving forward. I feel like there are some hurdles. We have the Queen of Cups. We have the Ten of Wands, responsibility. And we have the Three of Cups. Let's see, what do you feel like you need to protect yourself from? Abundance. We have the Four of Swords. And the King of Swords. All right. I just want to clarify who these people are coming towards you, because it does look like this is a completely different situation. This feels like, I feel like someone from the past, this is totally different. This doesn't feel connected to this original situation. It doesn't even feel connected to what's coming in. I think there's also something else coming in for you, like I was talking about, that feels really good. But there's also this other energy popping up that you can see. I'm curious, it looks like someone might be trying to make amends. Something might have happened that things went south, and I feel like someone's either trying to explain themselves or extend the olive branch, something along those lines. I think that what has happened has been really stressful for them. I'm not taking your side out of the equation because it feels like stressful for everybody involved. Like someone made a bad decision that they thought was going to be better for them, or they assumed a lot about you, about the dynamic. They heard bad information, that type of vibe. I think this is going to feel a little bit uncomfortable. Like because you go into self-protection mode with the Four of Pentacles. I think maybe you're not expecting to like hear back from this person, people. It might be a group of people. I think it puts a different perspective on the table, but I also think you're very hesitant. There's something about this that like something that's happened that makes it feel, for you, you're not really certain. Like maybe you're getting explanations, maybe it makes sense, but maybe it's not. Maybe some of this is hard to hear. I think you're just not really certain. Yeah, that's what I see. Like, I think that it's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. But there is this level of humility that's playing out from everybody. I don't think it's just like you were the bad one. You might compartmentalize it that way, like taking some things personally. because it's not a bad energy. It's just an energy that you're not really sure you want to re-engage with. And that might be because of the past things. It might also be because of how this gets readdressed. Like, you're like, okay, like, I think the good things, it's like, I don't know if I can trust it. And then the bad things feel like they're stinging a little bit badly, if that makes sense, right? Like, I don't know, because I don't hear it as an apology, or I hear it as someone trying to explain themselves, someone trying to rekindle something that I feel like maybe for you, maybe you've closed the door to. I don't see you saying no to this. I see you leaving the door open. I see you deliberating about what this choice would actually mean for you moving forward. If it could actually go into this space of teamwork. The otter and the cattail, it's bringing a level of peace. I like that for you. This feels like a soft energy too. Wasn't the otter inner... Oh, I think they're the same, from the same family though. The otter and the stout. They seem like cousins, right? I don't know. It looks to me like this is a final thing before this achievement of stability on some level. I think this is something that's helping close a chapter. Whether you start a new chapter with this or not is to be determined, or everyone's situation is going to be a little bit different. I like it because it's bringing you peace. I think that it is filling in some gaps that you needed. I think it is helping you release some of the burden. I think it is actually like closing out a long-term cycle as well. The turtle and coriander is satisfaction. Like a job well done. I'm reminded of the tortoise and the hare. I know that's a little cliche, but just that value of like slow and steady wins the race. And I think that you can, because of like that strength that I was picking up in the very beginning, you can look back on what you've been through with satisfaction. Even if not everything's been up to your idea of perfect or whatever. I think that with this perspective is coming some release and some closure. And I think whatever you're dealing with end of the week is helping with that. Like I said, you're on the fence. If you are giving this a little space to figure out whether you want to invite it back in, you are watching people and things like a hawk, making sure that you are safe, that you are protected. I think that's really important for you. The eel and the iris, because this has been coming up a lot for us lately. I think that you are very protective of self, and I think you should continue to be, right? The Four of Pentacles can be a little bit of a miserly energy, but at the same time, if you're experiencing things from the past that have brought you to this point or made you believe or see people dynamics in a certain way, it's good to keep that in mind, right? That's part of what helps us not get ourselves back into the same cycles over again, or we can kind of sniff out that energy. So even if it is different people, different vibes, we're not putting ourselves back into a certain pattern that we've already learned through. And I think you are being really protective with your energy, but I think that that's actually giving you a lot of really good things as a result, a lot of really good, strong, positive options that are making you feel you're hesitant, you're conscious of yourself and how much of yourself you're going to give, but you're not limiting yourself, right? Like you're in control of your interactions and engagements. And I think that that's the best thing, the best place you can be in this week. A lot of even just, like I said, like, yes, we're going to see some negative transits. We'll probably see them pop up throughout the week, but it's not anything that's like pushing you over the edge. If anything, it's just defining even further what you want for yourself, and how you want that actually to represent in your life. So thank you so much for your time, energy, always. I hope you enjoyed the reading. I hope you found messages that resonated here for you. Definitely drop comments below if you did. I love to hear, or just say, hey, sharing a little love, little TLC. I so appreciate all the love, all the support that you bring to the channel. No, it totally blesses my heart, and I am just sending that love and blessings back your way always. I hope you have a fabulous week. I will sort out the audio issues to the best of my ability. I'm a little busy up front mid-week, but hopefully next week we can get back to the lives. We'll see. To be determined. All right. Until next time, talk to you soon. Lots of love. Have a great day. Talk to you.